So today, the first question is, what is the difference between the Git Fast-Forward versus the Ort Merge? If you are using Git for some time, you know that in earlier, I think it's version 2.32. And let me show you a few things before we move forward. Uh, yeah. Right now, I'm using 2.41, which is the latest one. And I don't know if I showed you guys this SCM. Yeah, this is the official Git website, git-scm.com. So you will see that 2.41 is the latest version. So I believe starting from 2.3.2, they introduced this strategy called ORT. And I still need to check it. So I will say .xx. And before that, there is something called recursive merge strategy. Recursive merge. So my first question for you guys, what is the difference between this fast forward versus the ORT merge, right? And based in your experience, all of you people who are using Git, which strategy you prefer and how you are doing it? I will start from here. So just a one-liner about what exactly is a branch in Git. So branch means we are trying to provide an independent line of work. So yesterday we have discussed that nowadays in case of GitHub, we have the default branch as a main branch. And we can change it always to any other branch, but main is the default branch. And let's assume using this main branch, we are pushing the code to production. Okay. But at the same time, we are trying to develop a feature. Okay. So as a developer, or we cannot push that code directly to the main branch, right? So we will create a branch out of this main branch called feature. Okay. In feature, all the developers will perform their work. And once they are satisfied that the feature is fully developed, you will do all your CI/CD, all the tests. You will done all the testing in the non-production environment. Then what you will do, you will merge that feature branch to the main branch. And that's what we are discussing, merging the change back from this feature branch to the main branch. Okay. And for that purpose, we have different strategy. Okay. So let me show you with the help of this Jamboard, which I was playing yesterday. So, okay. So let's say this is our master branch. Okay. And this is our master branch. And I created a branch out of it. And that branch is called feature branch. So at that moment of time, when I created a master branch, a feature branch out of it, both master and the feature, they are pointing to this particular commit. Okay. I'm going to show you with the help of like how this works, but just drawing the picture like how exactly this is going to work. And let's say this commit is whatever the commit ID it is. And we have discussed in depth about how this commit has been created. So we are on this commit, and this is the master branch. And out of this master branch, we have created this feature branch. Okay. Let's say and you remember based on yesterday discussion that the head, which is a pointer reference, like, okay, this will move to this particular feature branch. So we created this feature branch out of this master branch, and head is just going to follow. So wherever we checked out or switched to that particular branch, head is just going to follow to it. Okay. And at this point of time, let's say I add one more commit. So I add some feature. Don't worry, I'm just building the conceptual visualization. I'm going to show you with the help of an example how we are doing it. So at this point of time, in this feature branch, let's say I add one more commit. Okay. So whatever be the commit ID, I don't care. Let's say it's ASD, whatever it is, 123. Okay. So what is going to happen? This feature branch is going, this pointer, which is earlier pointing to this, will move over here, right? So this, which is earlier pointing to this, right? This pointer is going to move to here. And head is just going to follow. So head is also going to point to this one, right? So our branch now move from here to this point. Okay. And at that point of time, we are not doing any commit on the master branch. This branch is remain pristine. There is no changes which is happening. Now we are done with the changes and we are going to merge these changes back from this feature back to this master branch. Okay. So you can see our commit history is linear. We are not making any changes to a master. We are just doing a changes to a feature. And when we are going to do the changes, okay, Git, what it is going to do smartly, because Git know that there is only changes in the feature branch. Git is just going to move this master branch to this particular commit. Okay. And this kind of merge is called fast-forward merge when our history is linear. If you do not understand this, I will show you with the help of an example. Now go back to the ORT merge. In a case of a ORT merge, the same thing happens. Let's say we have this master branch. We created a feature branch out of it. We are doing some development on this feature branch, but at the same time, we have some bugs. So let's say we created a commit on this branch too. So now we have the divergent history. We have the change in master branch. So I'm not saying we are doing a change directly to this master branch. Let's say we created a new branch called bug fix branch, and we have merged the change to this master. So now we have the commit on master itself, and we are doing a change on the feature also. Okay. So we have two different things, right? We are doing a parallel development in both the branches, or we are doing some fixes on the branch. So when Git is going to do the merge at that stage, so when we are going to merge this feature branch back to the master, Git will say, okay, we have already have a change over here, which has been merged, and we are going to do this merge also. So at that point of time, what Git is going to do, Git is going to create a new commit. And that commit is going to point to both of these new commit. And that kind of a merge strategy is called the ORT. I know it's confusing, so let's see with the help of an example. So for that, yesterday we have discussed that this is the way git branch. Let's see. This is the command we use to create a branch. To create a repository in case of a Git. Git branch new. Okay. So we have created a Git repository, and the way we have looked at inside it is because we have this hidden folder called Git, which hold all the data. Okay. Now let's check the file. We have looked at all these things yesterday. Desktop.txt. We have committed this one, right? Now create a new branch called feature. Okay. And we are creating this branch out of the master. We have this master branch. And yesterday we have discussed like the way Git knows that we are on the master branch by looking at this file called head. And currently the head is pointing its reference pointer to a master. And branch is nothing but a pointer reference to a particular commit, right? So we are on that. So let's create a branch out of master, and we are calling it a feature branch, right? Now, if we run the command git branch again, we are still on the master, but in order to switch to that branch, we run the command called git switch feature. Okay, I'm going in a hurry because we have already looked all these things yesterday. So we switch to a particular branch. If you run the command this head again, you see that the pointer is now referring to this feature branch. Okay. And because we created this branch out of the master, we already got this file from the master, test.txt. Now, let's create a file called feature.txt. We add this file and we commit this file with a message of adding feature. Okay. Now, let's go back to the drawing and then we try to correlate. I know this has become a mess now, but see, we created a file on master, and then out of the feature branch, we created the master branch, we created this feature branch, and we have committed this commit 480, which is this one. So right now, if you see if I run this git lt command, the alias that I have given it to you guys yesterday, the history is pretty linear. We just make a change on this, and then we committed a change on this one. So if I go back to master, right, and I run the command called git merge feature, here you see it's just going to happen to do a fast-forward merge. And if you remember, we have this 48070. So 480CA70. So head is just pointed to that particular branch. So now the master branch is pointing to that particular commit. Okay, so I know this is confusing for someone who is just starting their journey, but let me explain to you guys one last time. So we have this master branch, okay, and we created a commit on this branch. Then out of this master branch, we created a feature branch, okay. And because we created this feature branch out of this master branch, whatever the commit we have done on this master branch, it will be on the feature branch also, okay. Now on this feature branch, we perform some commit, right? And we are done with this feature, and then we are going to merge it. So right now there is no change on the master, right? We just perform a commit on the feature branch, and now we are bringing that commit back to the master. So our history is linear. There is no divergence. So in that case, the merge which is happened is called a fast-forward merge. Okay. But in case if we make a change in the master also, let's say I created a file called abc.txt, and at the same time we are doing a change on the feature branch also. So Git has a divergent history at that time. So if we try to bring a change from feature to a master at that time, it's going to be a ORT based commit, in which Git is going to create a new commit for that. So let me show you with the help of one example. Let's say we go to github.com, right? And yesterday, I think we created this testing branch or branches. Yes. So there we have created two branches, main and test branch. Let's go to test branch and create a file. Let's say abc.txt. We don't need a content. Let's commit the change. Okay, so this change is committed. Now let's go back to the master branch and create a new file called master.txt. Commit a change. Okay, so now you see we have this divergent history. We have the change on master. Normally, we never do the change on this master or this main branch. We generally, what we are going to do is what I'm going to show you now. Let's go back to this test branch. And at the top, you see compare and pull request. We have done some changes. So in order to do that changes back to the master branch, we need to raise something called a pull request. And remember this point, this pull request is not a feature of Git. It is something which is added by this GitHub. Or if you go to the Bitbucket, or I think in GitLab, they call it a merge request or something like that. So basically what it's going to do, it's going to do the comparison between both of the branches. Okay, what has been changed between this branch A versus this branch B? And then merge those changes back to the main branch. I mean, that is the main point of Git, right? Like we have a different features which we are working or different kind of a bug fixes, and then we are bringing all those features from those branches back to the our main branch where we are going to release those changes to the production. So we are going to do something called create pull request, right? We have done commits, everything. And now if you do this merge pull request, okay, this has been merged. And let's go back to the branch. And you see that the file which we have created on the feature branch is now with a part of main branch. And if you see here, this merge pull request, when the Git try to merge that changes from feature branch to the main branch, it created a new commit because it is seeing that there is a divergent history in the branch. So in order to merge both those changes back to the master, it created a new commit. Whereas in case of the this fast forward merge, it just pointed to the particular commit. Okay. So key takeaway is that in Git, starting from, I mean, 2.32 that I mentioned, even in GitHub, by default, their merge strategy is called a ORT merge. So when you are bringing out the changes from different branch back to the main branch, they created a separate commit for each and every merge. Many people don't know about it, but just a word of caution, this is how Git bringing the merge from different branches. They created a new commit. So, I mean, this is technically, you are just bringing the changes. But Git, in order to identify these kind of a changes in future, it is going to create a commit object out of it, which is this new commit, 4FC B8. So I know I speak a lot about it. Any question regarding this, the difference between the ORT versus the fast forward?
This is Manshu. So, like in our environment, generally, like whenever we have to merge, so we uses that no FF, like no fast forward. So that means we are using alt merge. Correct.
Yeah. So no fast forward means you are using something called a recursive merge, which was a earlier version of fast forward merge. So I can show you git ort merge. Yeah. So on the command line, exactly, if you are doing giving, I mean, the way I have showed you this one, like the way we have merged it, it's a fast forward merge. But rather than just giving the merge hyphen feature, if you give a flag called no hyphen ff, it is going to do a fast, not a fast forward merge. So in that case also, it is going to create a new commit, what Himanshu you are saying. So yes, you are correct. But what I'm saying, in case of a Git, now they move to, sorry, in GitHub, now they move to a new merge strategy called merge ORT. Uh, I haven't gone through their whole of this doc, but it says it is much better. It is much better in handling all the conflict and everything. So that is the merge strategy GitHub is using to merge the changes. Let me ping you guys. So it's a kind of a duplicate. The last two commits are same somehow. So yes, that's the main point, right? You are doing all the changes in some other branch, and that you are going to, like I mentioned here. Yes, you are doing a changes in the feature branch, right? And generally, I can give you my experience. Like we do all the changes in the feature branch, or we are doing all the development in the feature branch. And once I am done with the feature, I brought all those changes to the main, right? And then I deleted this feature branch, right? So I understand what you are coming. It's a kind of a delete, but basically in Git, like I mentioned, Git branches are just a pointer. So the moment you are going to delete this branch, your commit are not lost. It moved to the main. It will remain there for some time, and then Git performs something called GC or garbage collection, and it will clean up all those changes. I think the default one is 30 days. If you goes to the GitHub, even if you are going to delete your commit right now, it will stay there for 30 days. There are ways to retrieve those commit, but for that you need to contact GitHub support. But yeah, I understand your confusion, but the point is, yes, it is bringing those changes. It's not exactly a duplicate, but it's a kind of a duplicate.
So like if we are using no FF, we are using recursive merge. Like still don't understand that
No, 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 no.
ORT
So
and
if you are not, yes, if you are not using no FF, by default it's going to be a fast forward merge if only if there's a linear history. If it's a non-linear history, divergent history, then in that case it's definitely going to be a recursive merge, provided there is no conflict. And we are going to see conflict in the next question. Any other question?
So, I think I'm not too, I don't understand too well about the Ort merge. So, is there anything, any steps that it takes to perform the merger specifically?
Yes. So basically, on the command line, you can do it like the git merge and whatever branch you want to merge. As Himanshu mentioned, if you don't want a fast forward merge, you can do no FF. If you don't even need to worry about it, by default, Git is going to perform this no fast forward merge or recursive merge or ORT merge behind the scene for you. So basically, you just need to you just need to create a pull request, and when you merge that pull request, Git will perform all those changes behind the scene for you. I mean, I'm just showing you all this internal, but when you create a pull request, you don't need to worry about what is happening behind the scene. And if you need more, like if you need more information how this ORT merge works, I just give you this doc. Just go through this doc. This is has all the details.
Okay, thank you.